me.
Yes. We,
I got a memory box.
you've met all these people. What? Okay, just call off some of the names. That's why I started the recording because I'm just like,
And I
and
met
so you met who?
John Roseburg as a seatmate all the way from here to Atlanta. And
Mm-hmm.
that's about 4.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to, there were questions I wanted to know about the Dodgers. I always
Mm-hmm.
felt they were a little bit racist because when Pittsburgh and Cincinnati would come into town, sometimes they'd
Mm-hmm.
have a whole black squad, and maybe the whole black squad except the pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, Dodgers never have a whole field. There's always one or two whites on the field. So I asked him, and he said, you're right. I said, I said, well, what happened? He said, I don't know if you remember, but Dodgers had a general manager,
You know I don't know, but anyway.
Buzzy Bavasi.
Mm-hmm.
When he left the Dodgers, he went to the Angels,
Mm-hmm.
and he went to Houston, and somebody interviewed him and asked him about black managers. He said they didn't seem to have the, how did he put it? He didn't say capacity, but in other words, what it meant was they didn't have sense enough to be a manager.
Oh.
And when he got back, they had him as pink slip.
Oh.
But he was Dodgers general manager for years, Bavasi.
Mm-hmm.
But
All right. Who are some of these people you met on the plane?
one of my favorite actors. um, but I met him in the airport oh God, what's his name?
You have a favorite female too. Somebody who you talked about her last night.
Well, some of my favorite females were my. It was one of them was my boss, Audrey Meadows,
Audrey
and
Meadows.
then Ann
Yes.
Baxter, who was also had a daughter working for us, and she whenever we go to functions, she'd go with us.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the talk that I had with Carol Burnett. She's
Mm-hmm.
just super nice.
Yeah.
And the God, what's the guy that could? No, I can't think of the guy's name. Well, I know it. He went to on my flight heading for Vietnam. Always played. Pretty much, he played westerns, but he did play some other.
Mm-hmm.
He had a son to play in the movies too.
You were telling me something last night about somebody who was very arrogant versus somebody who
Oh,
wasn't.
that was Jim Brown,
Jim Brown.
the
Oh,
football
okay,
player.
yeah. You didn't like him, or was it that he was just
He didn't
arrogant?
arrogant.
What'd you say, Dad?
You know, his personality was like a wet rag, you know.
Ah.
And I know he was spoiled because the fact that he was one of the best ever football players.
Mm-hmm.
I bar none. He was a running back.
Mm.
I saw him going into a pile of guys going in, and it looked like the whole team enclosed him. And then next thing I look at, he's out going on 6 punts. But he's just arrogant. He acts like a
Who was the one you liked? You told me last night. Somebody that was really, really nice.
well, what's the nice guy's name he played, I don't care with John Wayne. I didn't care for John Wayne because I saw him. Um, and what was that white girl's name that was real popular? And she still is. Her mama's dead now.
What did she do?
She singer.
Oh, Dad, you know how many white girls really popular that
But
sing?
this was one of the older ones
Oh,
back
well,
when you were a teenager.
quite a few then too, but
But
I probably wasn't into white female singers as a teenager.
well, I'm trying to think. This gal sang Gladys Knight. One of the songs that Gladys Knight sang. they're the same time. Gladys recorded it, and
And she turned around and did
recorded it.
another. Mm-hmm.
And I met her mama drunk on the airplane.
You or her?
Bob Mitchum was the guy's name.
Oh, Bob Mitchum that you were trying. Mm-hmm.
Bob Mitchum got on my airplane. I met him when in 1952.
Mm-hmm.
He and a couple of other guys wanted as a lead in there. He was always like the not main lead, but the second guy on the chart as far as notoriety. Ward Bond.
Mm-hmm.
Ward Bond, Marilyn Maxwell, and Bob Mitchum.
Mm-hmm.
They got stuck in the Houston airport when Harvey was one little flat barn.
Mm-hmm.
And,
A flat barn, okay.
And so that's when I got to meet him. But when I was flying, he got on my flight in Travis and drunk. He slept about halfway there, and then he woke up, stood up, lit a cigarette.
On the plane? Oh, you could smoke on the plane back then. Oh, wow.
First class. And he, of course, this one didn't have first class. It was just all coach.
Mm.
But he was near first class section. And so he lit cigarettes, and they had that little, I don't know what kind of material it was. It wasn't cloth, but it was kind of pony cloth.
Mm-hmm.
And he touched the pillow a couple of times with it, and I just moved the pillow back.
Before he set the whole thing on fire?
It wasn't a flammable thing.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to burn it out.
Mm-hmm.
It was a throwaway thing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I moved it back, and I was talking to him, and I talked to him for about an hour and a half because he was through with his drunk. And so I said, where are you going? He said, I'm going to Vietnam. And I said, what are you going over there for? He said, I remember this. I said, you don't sing, you don't drink. I mean, you don't dance.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? Because Bob Hope went over there with his
Mm-hmm. Oh,
brother
yeah, that's
there.
true. I remember that.
And he said, I'm going over there to get some rest. I'm damn tired. He said, they won't let me rest.
So he went to Vietnam to get rest?
Yep. He said that's what he was going for. And,
Wow.
I believed him. He also played in some movies with the Italian singer. Was part of the Frank Sinatra. What was the black guy?
You're not talking about Dean.
Dean Martin.
Dean.
He played it in some pictures with Dean Martin. He had quite a few westerns.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were just so many that you run into, you meet. And there was this gal, I forget her name, she was Swedish. She and Quincy Jones and somebody else I had to take from the President's Club to the airplane, and I met them while I was in there. And of course, they didn't want nobody to know who they were.
Mm-hmm.
They talked real good, real nice while they were in the club, and congenial, and got on the airplane. Is everything okay? I said, damn, I'm sorry I asked.
Oh, they gave you like a nasty response?
Well, it was, they didn't want anybody on the airplane to know who they were.
Okay.
Because some of those people looked the same. Like Bob Mitchum, you couldn't miss him.
Right.
He looked like Bob Mitchum.
Yeah, right.
John Wayne looks
Like John Wayne, okay.
Well, like I told you about Jimmy Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Smith is an ordinary looking guy. And so, and then there was, what was it? The guy just died here not too long ago. Humphrey, a comedian. They had kind of a special on CNN on him last week or week before.
Mm-hmm.
He was really into civil rights, pushing it in 1966 and 7. And I had him on a flight, and I didn't know who he was until he started talking, and I realized who he was. And he all he was, heck, I'm working, and he wants to talk about the civil rights movement and stuff. I'm, to myself, look, nigga, I'm working. I'm not in a meeting. I'm not off duty. And I heard one of the guys on CNN, bragging about what a great civil rights activist he was. I thought he talked too much.
But isn't it what activists do though, Dad? They do talk a lot. That's what activists do.
It's how you talk. It's what you say.
I stayed corrected.
But an activist is pushy. They are pushy.
Yeah.
They push you. And I did meet Muhammad Ali.
You met him in the back of when you were driving cab?
No, I met him.
No, that was Stevie Wonder.
No, I met Stevie Wonder. I think, let's see, 3 times. My cousin, Andrew Allen, I went to school with us and grew up there in Germany partially. His daughter was at Motown when Motown got started, and she was a teenager with Stevie Wonder, and when her mother died, she had him and who else? A couple of other entertainers, Motown entertainers, and then when her daddy, her sister died, he was there, and then when her daddy died, her mama, daddy, and sister died, he was at all 3 funerals, and at the last funeral, that was her daddy. Yeah, her daddy. I was one of the last ones out of the church, and his handler brought him out, and Stephen was like 8 or 10, he was with me, and this handler befriended Stephen, and he said, "Don't you want his autograph?" And I said, So Stephen, I would do it for his sake. Elmer don't want an autograph. I can't cash the damn thing to the bank.
Would you say, Dad, the autograph is non-cashable, non-negotiable, non-whatever?
None of that. And but a lot of people cherish it, and he was real.
That is a good point, so it's just for bragging rights, really, to say that, oh, I met so and so and so, and oh, here's their autograph.
Buy those stuff, museum parts.
Oh, that's true. Could potentially be worth something.
Thousands of dollars.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's all you can do. Look over there, say any one of those. Well, it could easily be. All you gotta do is connect some person who is noticed in the world of society or whatever, and then their work, which. Like that picture there, that was taken in 1946.
Which one? Oh, your Navy picture? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get a shot of it.
What's special about it is a picture.
Yeah.
It was taken in Norfolk in 1946. And that plaque on the top, it was one of those, it's from the lodge. And how do I know easily it's from the lodge?
That emblem?
The square. The square up there. That's the Masonic.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I think Danny